Hello, Buffs fans. Happy Valentine's Day and welcome back to BuffSports Live. I'm Taylor Sadusky.
And I'm Jessica Periani, making my big debut as an anchor on BuffSports Live.
I am so excited to anchor with you on your first time. You picked a good show with all that crazy news that came in this week.
You were right. Probably one of the biggest breakups to take place on this Valentine's Day. The breakup between Mel Tucker and Rick George.
Oof, that's right, Jessica. We better get into that story right now. On Tuesday night, the world of CU got some truly shocking news. Mel Tucker, the head coach of the football team, left the school in order to become the head coach of Michigan State Spartans. Tucker was CU's coach for only one season, leading the Buffs' 5-7 record. The news came 3 days after Tucker tweeted that he was committed to CU in building the culture. Tucker's salary will be doubled in the Spartans. He will even have more control over the staff there.
This isn't the first time Mel Tucker has been on the Michigan State coaching staff. Tucker was first hired as a graduate assistant at Michigan State, where he worked under Nick Saban. Tucker was there for 2 seasons before bouncing around college football and the NFL.
It was back in October that Mel Tucker first uttered the now famous line, "There's no transfer portal in the real world." Tucker constantly stressed loyalty and culture during his time at CU, which was likely a big draw to recruits, with the signing day on February 5th. 2 days later, a report in the Detroit Free Press said Tucker was being considered for the MSU job. Tucker denied the job via an affirmated tweet that said he was committed to the Buffs. Then, on February 11th, Tucker went on 3 different radio stations, Double Down, and that night attended a booster event for CU donors. It was only hours later that the first report revealed that Tucker decided to leave.
On Wednesday afternoon, athletic director Rick George named Darren Chiaverini the new interim coach of the Colorado Buffaloes in his 3 seasons on Colorado's staff. Coach Chev was become one of the best recruiters in the country, and last season was the wide receivers coach and the assistant head coach on Mel Tucker's staff. Coach Chev played for the Buffs when he was in college, playing for 1995 to 1980. He played in the 3 bowl games, the Cotton, Holiday, and Aloha Bowls, and after his career at CU, the Browns picked Chev in the 5th round of the NFL draft. He spent 4 years in the NFL, playing for the Cowboys and Falcons, before starting his coaching career.
And on Wednesday morning, Rick George talked to the reporters about how he found out about Mel Tucker leaving. That day, George had a team meeting with the players about Mel Tucker's leaving. Here's how they reacted.
We had a conversation on Saturday about his commitment to Colorado, and I was comfortable with that. And what transpired in the last 24 hours, it's disappointing, but look, the coach is going to do what's best for he and his family, and I support that. And he made that decision, and my focus now is moving forward with this program and where we're headed. I would probably say somber. They have, I know they enjoyed playing for Coach Tucker. But my message to them was, we got an incredible opportunity to do really some significant things. We need them to stick together, have confidence that we know what we're doing and where we're going, and we're going to hire somebody that they will appreciate and respect and want to play for, and we'll do that as quickly as we possibly can.
Yes.
Listen, it'll be starting right after this show.
Yes.
And
it wasn't just Rick George who was surprised by the news. Many players, recruits, and families of recruits weighed in, starting with Ashad Clayton, one of the Tucker's newest recruits, who said, "I hate being lied to." Shanae Berry, Jordan Berry's mom, said, "I hate when people lie to me, but more so my son." The feelings of recruits and their families can be summed up by this next tweet from Drew Pearsons, who said, "Mel Tucker is a con man. He recruits my grandson to go to CU, said he wasn't going anywhere, and then ups and leaves. Sat there and lied to my face. He wasn't going anywhere. So I want to beat him up today on social media. What else can I do?" And a measured take from Forever Buff Phil Lindsay, who said, "Respect is given when you put words to action. Commitment is all these young men want." Obviously, a lot of the players and recruits were shocked and upset with the news. With more on what they can expect, here's Vinay Simlot.
And now we're joined by Chase Howell of 24/7 Sports, and he also has a radio show on Radio 1190, which you can tune into after our show today at 6. Chase, you took the time out of your many radio appearances to come talk to us. Thank you.
Of course, anything for BuffSports Live. I miss being on here.
Yeah, well, another thing you miss is Mel Tucker, right? He's gone. They announced it Tuesday night after a bit of a back and forth between Mel Tucker and the CU fan base.
Yeah, very interesting last week or so. It looked like he was coming back after the tweet on Saturday, and then all of a sudden Tuesday night, the big bomb is dropped, I think around 11 p.m., and the whole world of CU fans was flipped upside down.
And the tough part about this is Rick George was right with us. He had no idea that Mel Tucker was still talking to Michigan State.
Yeah, and pretty much everybody in the situation just figured that he was stuck with CU. He went on a little radio tour that Tuesday morning. He was on 3 different local radio stations talking up CU about why he wanted to stay, about why it was a destination job for him. And then all of a sudden, 12 hours later, it's completely different.
And Michigan State's athletic director confirmed that they had offered the job to Mel Tucker on Monday night, and then Tuesday they were going back and forth on the terms of it. What about those new recruits? You're very plugged into this situation. Will they stay?
Yeah, I think most of them will stay. Most of them understand that you commit to a school, you don't really commit to a coaching staff. Yes, a lot of them were in love with Mel Tucker. I think a lot of us fell into his trap, and obviously with Darren Cheverini being named the interim head coach, a lot of the recruits are on board with Coach Chev, and they want to see what he can build in the time being.
Moving forward, Cheverini's the head coach, the interim head coach for now. Do you see them offering it to him full time?
It could definitely happen, just because they're in such a tough situation here in the middle of February, going through a coaching search. There aren't that many hot names out there that they can go and grab. A lot of them have already been grabbed by other schools. So obviously they're going to do their due diligence. They're going to go and interview a lot of other guys. But if they end up feeling like they like Coach Chev the most out of all the guys that they interview, then I could see them going back to that.
The question now is, will they be able to find a head coach who's going to stay here and be successful?
$1 million question right now, Vinay. I wish I had the answer for that one.
Well, Chase, thank you for squeezing us into your busy schedule. Chase Howell with us from 24/7 Sports, and listen to his radio show after our show.
Go listen. It'll be starting right after this show.
And now, time for that trivia question. We're going to stay on that Tucker theme, though. The question is, Mel Tucker was an interim head coach for which NFL team? Stick with us, and we will tell you the answer after the break.
So Taylor, do you have any Valentine's Day plans after the show?
You know, nothing planned yet, but I can tell you something. Good thing I was not cheated on by anyone, just like Mel Tucker cheated on us with MSU. I will say that.
Well, I'm just waiting for tomorrow when all the candy actually goes on sale. That is
Right.
my day.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Good times, good vibes.
Exactly. That's the best time of the day, honestly. So,
Honestly.
free candy, hopefully.
No, boys, no.
Maybe.
It's fine. We're all good.
Yeah, no boys, no boys.
Ugh, especially with the weather.
Right?
It's a cold one out there.
I'd rather have chocolate, in all honesty.
Oh, honestly.
Yes,
Go
but I
curl
know
up on the
CU's had a
couch.
little bit rough time this time, so maybe we should get chocolate because of Mel Tucker and everything that's going on. So the more ice cream, the better. Probably, that's just what I'm saying.
The whole football team deserves it. Oh my gosh, could you imagine? Quite the situation.
Right? And we'll be right back.
Please record in Mike and Q Talent in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mic up on 2. All right, take 1. And fade camera 2. Take 3. Ready, red. Roll red. Take cam 1. Take red. Take it. Come on, roll red. Let's go. All right.
Hey, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm just calling the show.
There's no show.
Over the weekend, men's basketball team played against Stanford here at home.
And there was a pretty special moment between both teams on the court. Vinay Simlat has more.
In today's game between the Colorado Buffaloes and the Stanford Cardinal, we saw something that we rarely see in college basketball. Both teams gathered at half court to pray for a player, Oscar da Silva, who got injured in the second half.
I'm a big dude, so, nothing really hurts me, but the fact that, I had my eyes closed when I went up, and, I think I elbowed him in his face or whatever, but I just saw his reaction. I saw his way he was laying there. I just broke down.
I know Nevin for 3 years now, and dude got the biggest heart of anybody I've ever met, including my family. I've never met somebody with a heart like his, so it wasn't he didn't do it on purpose at all, and it was emotional because I looked over and seen Oscar's head bleeding and his eyes start to roll back. So I didn't know what happened, and I just got down on my knee and said a prayer. Coach Boyle wanted me to call both teams together and say another prayer with both teams. So got together, and Coach Haas said what he had to say, told us to keep playing hard, and I led a prayer and just thank God that he was okay and it wasn't worse than what it was.
Up to that point, the Buffs hadn't played very well. They were down by 11 at the end of the first half, but in the second half they went on a tear because of a bunch of three-pointers by Lucas Seward, McKinley Wright, and even Evan Batty, and that brought Colorado back into this game.
We were playing for something bigger than basketball at that point. Obviously it was a tough-fought game, and we knew that, Ev was emotional about the whole play, and we want to go out there and get that win for him. And he started taking over the game, made some huge plays. And
the Buffaloes are now #1 in the Pac-12 conference for basketball. We'll see if that holds when they go to Oregon next week. Back to you.
Last night, the men's basketball team went to Eugene, Oregon as the #1 team in the Pac-12, but they couldn't leave Eugene that way. The Buffs went on a 20-0 run in the first half to lead many as 14, but Oregon ended the game on a 15-2 run, beating the Buffs 68-60. Tad Boyle said it was frustrating because the Buffs played great for all but the last 6 minutes of the game.
That's right, Jessica. Men's basketball for the Pac-12 has been an interesting month so far with its standings. Last night, Colorado and Oregon tied up in first in the conference, both with a record of 19-6. Right behind is Arizona at 17-7, followed by Arizona State. There are only a few games that separate of the teams, so it will be interesting to see who will get covered the top 4 spots from the tournament.
The Buffalo's women's basketball team faces off against the Cal Bears here in Boulder on Friday. The Buffs look to improve on their 14-9 record by facing the last Bears, who boast a conference record of 1-11. Be sure to come down to CU Event Center to cheer on the Buffs.
Over 25 years after she first came to Boulder, Erin Carson was being honored with the Jane Wall Legacy Award before tonight's game. Carson was a part of the Seal Berries' first recruiting class back in '98-94. The native of British Columbia would play all 4 years at CU and was captain of the first women's basketball team to make the NCAA tournament. Thanks, Ben, for the coverage on that, and we need to go take a quick break, maybe call an ex.
That definitely is not going to happen. I made sure to take out the trash a couple of weeks ago.
Oof, touche, girl. I like that. Don't go anywhere, Buffs fans. We'll be right back.
Yeah,
In artist, I'm not, but I am the voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson, and you're watching BuffSports Live.
Okay.
They were nervous and inexperienced,
Years ago. Not really.
as new faces looking to achieve greatness. As the years went on,
No, I know.
they grew
Brandon.
confident in their abilities.
He's watching this. Yeah.
Now they look
He
to guide
literally
others
texted me the other day and he's
in
like,
the
I'm gonna
same
be rooting for
pursuit.
you. I'll watch you.
There it is! Can you believe it?
All are welcome to be featured on the biggest stage.
Is it his time?
We invite you to discover what you're capable of at BuffSports Live.
Amazing. We've got another Hall of Famer at CU. Kara Callan was first elected to the James of Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. Callan has been on the radio broadcast for CU's women's basketball team for more than 30 years, and she's also the head of U.S. women's basketball. Before that, Callan was the athletic director at Fairview High School here in Boulder. And for her whole career, Callan has been an advocate for women in sports. We caught up with her last year, and she talked about the recognition means for someone in her position.
We're behind the scenes people. That's what USA Basketball is about. We know that the athletes and coaches are out front, so it's a little bit embarrassing to receive an award, to get the attention, but it really makes me feel good, especially when you look at the people that have received the award. We want to be a part of developing the game at young ages, getting more kids to play, recognizing that there are more opportunities for girls these days, so it's okay if they choose not to play basketball, just so they do something. But we'd love for them to be in several sports. I think everybody would say that, and then perhaps basketball becomes what they want to do.
Colorado women's lacrosse team fell just shy of a shutout against the 14th-ranked Florida Gators on Saturday. The top 20 matchup ended when Florida clipped the Buffs 11-10. Junior Sadie Grozier scored just 4 goals, keeping the Buffs tied 6-6 in the first half before being taken out after drawing CU's 5th yellow card. Colorado only has 11 turnovers to Florida's 14, but it was just missed down the stretch for their 4th loss of the series.
The track and field team has 4 meets this weekend, all over the country. Danny Jones and McKenna Morley will be going by themselves to Boston University to compete in the David Harum Valentine International. 16 Buffs are going to Seattle for the Husky Invitational, including Joe Kletcher, while 5 are headed to the Don Kirby Invitational in Albuquerque. Finally, the last part of the team will be going to the Tyson Invitational down in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Recently, the NCAA has adopted legislation with the Olympics to provide flexibility with funding for student athletes to help with their training efforts for the Olympics and the Paralympic Committee. These changes are going to be applied immediately to these divisions. One school, Phil DeStefano, quoted, "I'm excited about the council's move in recognizing the value of allowing these student athletes to receive support for the Olympic training efforts while simultaneously earning their degrees and competing for their universities."
We're going to go ahead and take our last break of the show, you guys. Might as well grab the pint of ice cream and throw on those sweatpants and get an early start to the night.
I'm not mad at that. Stay tuned, you guys.
They were nervous and inexperienced, as new faces looking to achieve greatness. As the years went on, they grew confident in their abilities.
Maybe. Yes, sir!
Now they look to guide others in the same pursuit.
There it is! Can you believe it?
All are welcome to be featured on the biggest stage.
Is it his time?
We invite you to discover what you're capable of at BuffSports Live.
Hey Buff fans, and happy Valentine's Day. Now before you get all dolled up and break out those chocolates and flowers, we've got the hottest segment in sports. It's Rapid Fire. First up, the women's basketball team is going to have to put their romantic plans on hold because they host the California Golden Bears at CU Event Center tonight at 7 p.m. Hopefully, they can start their night off on the right foot. Next up on the docket is the Battle of Midway, but not the one you're thinking of. Our ski team headed out to Midway, Utah for a 2-day contest against the Utes. While the event kicked off today, it will continue through tomorrow. Then, tomorrow night, the men's basketball team will be looking for some redemption after that blown lead against Oregon. They're in Corvallis to face off against Oregon State at 8 p.m. That game is available for viewing on Fox Sports 1. To close out the weekend, the women's basketball team will host the number 8 ranked Stanford Cardinal at noon. It'll be a tough match, so make sure to hit up the event center to cheer on the Buffs. Well, that's all I got for Rapid Fire. Time to grab my Ben & Jerry's pint and watch The Notebook by myself. Adios.
And now for the answer for that trivia question we have all been waiting for. Mel Tucker was an interim head coach for which NFL team? The answer, drum roll please. The Jacksonville Jaguars in 2011. You know, I had no idea he worked with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Fantastic stuff, for sure.
This tweet of the week comes from Chip himself, saying that while I am flattered to be considered for so many mascot jobs across the country after my title, I am committed to CU Buffs for the build of our program. It's great athletes, coaches, and supporters. Hashtag unfinished business and go Buffs. We are hashtag relentless, false promises, and man of the word. Wow, what an amazing tweet, Chip. We are all so glad and decided to stay with CU and support everything that we are a part of, unlike some individuals at CU. Well, you guys, we've come to the end of the show. Hopefully you guys have a great Valentine's Day, no matter what you have planned.
That is right. You got that right. Whether you see this as Single Awareness Day or Valentine's Day, just remember the candy is half off tomorrow, just a PSA. From here at the BuffSports Live, I'm Taylor Sadesky.
And I'm Jessica Periani, and to all our exes.
Thank you. Next. Anyway, you guys, we're going to close out the show on one last note of our final look back at Mel Tucker. Please enjoy this montage.
A toughness, a discipline, and accountability, and a real passion for his players. We spent a lot of time at his home when we were talking about his passion to make sure that his student athletes were prepared for that next stage in life.
This is one of the most beautiful places in America to live, to go to school. It's a great academic institution. From a football standpoint, we have some of the best facilities in the country. These facilities are incredible, brand new. The weight room is awesome, is functional. The indoor facility is second to none. We have great experience on our staff. We have diversity on our staff. Our guys are very energetic. They're very genuine people. They're easy to talk to, you know. They're very positive, and what you see is what you get, and I think that's what players are looking for.
We're going to live tough. We're going to eat tough. We're going to practice tough. And what has been in the past or what's around us and the rest of the conference has no bearing on what we are and what we're going to be.
I never wore shorts before, but it feels kind of good. It feels like practice, man. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? You like the shorts? That's right. Hey, man. Feel good, coach good. Let's go.
You know, I have to ask myself, you know, how can we grow? What did we do right, and how can we get better?